Well, what is the best prime that you can get with the newest temporal artifact things? You can get a random prime reward thing. And I noticed there was a few primes you can get with that. Which one's the best one?
Karkun, shut the hell up! Okay, that's a very good question. So let's first talk about that. You're talking about the cosmic particle?
The random ones that you can get for RNG from the temporal artifact silent parts, I think. Silent enemies.
Here we go. The temporal exchange, you're talking about the prime orbit medallion. There's actually a great Google sheet for this. I'm going to pull it up for you. With all the credit in the world given to Silvus and Stewie Doo. Yes! This is Silvus's, and he breaks down all the free-to-play and all the sourcing and all the other stuff. Yeah, here we go. Prime Orbit Medallions. Almost sure there was 3.
If you go to the summary tab.
Prime Orbit Medallion.
Scroll all the way to the bottom. There is technically a bunch.
Yeah, you got 12 different primes here, guys.
That's what I was curious, as the free-to-play path being so slow, which one is the one I should be saving for?
All right, well, let's look at these real quick. I will turn said camera off. Bam! Jules, there are 12 primes in the game that are unlocked with the Prime Orbit Medallion. And if I'm not mistaken, Jules, it's not even every temporal exchange, but only, the rare ones or the select few. Is it in every single one?
It is in every single one.
There you go. But it's not a guarantee. It is a chance, right? Here you got your 3 chance rolls at a Prime Orbit Medallion, and you're not even guaranteed one of these 3. You can roll a nothing. Or you could roll a 5, a 10, or a 20, all right? These Prime Orbit Medallions can accumulate, and you can come over to this particular spreadsheet. Here on this summary page, as Jules pointing out, down at the very bottom, we've got these 12 primes that unlock using the Prime Orbit Medallions. But, as Karkun was asking earlier, Jules, some people might ask, which ones are the most valuable to me? Jules, if you were just taking a look at this quick piece of the screen, and if you wanted to answer Karkun very quickly, what do you like in here for the use of the Prime Orbit Medallion?
I wanted to actually take a look at the station efficiencies and point out level 1 is only 200. So it's a very achievable level 1 goal.
Oh, it's not 1,000.
There's 1,700 for all 3 levels.
Ah,
so the
gotcha.
First level is 200, second level is 500, and then the third level is 1,000. Now, if you're just entering G4 or G5, this can actually be a very potent efficiency if you can get these up to a high level prior to getting into some more expensive buildings.
I remember when these prime station efficiencies came out, we finally got to meet Billy from accounting face to face. I was actually kind of leaning myself towards critical damage floor. We're seeing more and more moves by Scopely in the game to do different things that are going to put different emphasis and focus on the way the damage is done, especially with the new Prime Hull Breach Resilience, for example. That can actually, again, just like some of these other crews in the past, reduce your crit damage down to 0 if you don't have a critical damage floor. Now, of course, you can get some grindable free-to-play through the export favors, but get a little bit extra from this free prime, even if it does take several months. I feel like prime critical damage floor is going to have the most non-economical impact. I think it's going to have the most combat-based impact and the largest impact on your actual gameplay performance, Jules.
I would agree with that. The last one I want to point out too is Prime Exborg Ordnance. This is to reduce the efficiency of your Exborg credits. This is just your common Exborg credits and only in the research tree. So it does not affect favors and it will not affect upgrading the enterprise, but it's just the research tree. If you're just going into that research tree and somehow you've gathered yourself up 1,000 Prime Orbit Medallions, this is a fantastic way of speeding up that progress.
And this right here, your Prime Export Ordnance Daily Claim, this is what's going to actually come out of that chest, if indeed you have that Prime. So you could take a look at your chest now and compare this to what is on your screen right now to determine whether or not that $100 Prime is worth it, or if that is what you want to be grinding towards with the Prime Orbit Medallions. Now, circling back, Jules, is there a way, in your opinion, to determine the viability or the impact that some of these primes are going to have on your gameplay as we compare some of the older primes to the new primes, versus some of the older primes having a free-to-play path, but the newer ones probably not yet. What would you say to a player who has no primes and is coming up through the game? Are these original day one, year one primes, are they even worth chasing anymore?
Ooh, I mean, that's pretty tough. I think that we just recently had a question like this, and the ones that are going to always be useful are things that give you more utility, extra docks, extra research and build slots. Those ones are going to give you utility, and those will last forever.
They do last forever, and those are going to be things that provide extra capability in the game. For example, 100% boost to base damage. There was indeed a prime for that years and years ago, Jules. And today we look at 100% base damage, and it's not even visible in a battle log anymore. But that was a prime that was sold for $100 back 5 years ago.
Or even officer stats. That was the number one prime when it was released.
Yeah, I remember the officer stats, the one that you could grind with, gosh, was that a scrapping a Mayflower that you could do that? Those primes are probably not something that you're going to see anymore. So coming back to the original question, are there primes from back in the day that are still worth doing? I mean, if you can do them free to play, probably sure. Are there primes that have come out in before, say, the last 12 months that I would spend money on? Probably not. Can you name any prime off the top of your head that existed more than 12 months ago that provide a statistical boost in the game that you would indeed still spend money on?
Prime efficient ship parts and prime efficient ship engineering. When did those come out?
Those are probably, you know what? Those are probably a year old now at this point. Those are the ones that use dolomite particles. And those probably still worth it, I would imagine, right? Those are in the galaxy tree, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right? Prime
Station tree.
Station tree. Okay. Yeah. Prime. Let's see. Station efficiency. Here we go. Efficient ship engineering. They are in the station tree. Don't remember when they came out, but these are the ones that are using the dolomite particles. And I would imagine they came out with Voyager. So we are actually just beyond or right at about a year. They came out with the Voyager field training just a couple of months after Voyager did. So I would imagine that those are absolutely still worth it. And probably those could be worth spending money on. That's about the only, but that's not a statistical benefit. That's an efficiency, you know? So
Prime Borg rewards, maybe? That would be in the Starships tree.
Prime Borg rewards, that one gave extra
quality.
Yeah, gave extra credits, and it gave extra active nanoprobes for you to upgrade your.
That one's grindable.
Mm-hmm.
That one's grindable as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, this would be.
Not very many. So to answer the original question, the purpose of the video, how many of the older primes are worth it? Gosh, there are just so daggone many of them. It's probably best to kind of examine your own state of your account and then look at the prime individually. Ask your alliance mates, ask a content creator, ask in the community if this is a prime that is worth anything. Depending on how you play, chances are the answer is probably going to be no. But it's worth investigating. It's worth looking at, especially if it's free to play. If you're not going to spend any money on it, then you might as well, right? As we have so frequently and often favored saying here, Jules, the game is about nickels and dimes. So if you can get a little bit of something, if you can add a little bit of something to your account by grinding without spending any extra money, then it's probably worth it. At that point, a grindable prime becomes just like any other research. Thank you, Jules, very much for stopping in. And, of course, all the credit in the world to Silvis from Stewie's Discord, the Officer Tool Discord. Thank you for putting together the spreadsheet. It is a massive depository of data and resources, and a lot of time went into this thing. So be sure to say thank you to Silvis in the Discord, and you can find this link down below in the video description. This is the spreadsheet that gives you a link and a guide to every prime in the game. And is it grindable for you? Maybe, maybe not. This spreadsheet will tell you. Thank you, Silvis, and thank you, Jules. Appreciate it.